welcome to today's Conference Tracker Tech Tuesday, coupons, discounts, and payments. As usual, today's presenters will be myself, Chad Blodgett, Business Development Manager, and Garrett Effers, our Software Support Representative. If this is your first time, just know that we do this every third Tuesday at 1 Eastern. We usually go over some Conference Tracker announcements. We usually do our tech talk. And today we actually have a special guest, a user spotlight today, and then we'll get to your questions at the very end as well. Now, before we begin, just let everyone know that today's webinar will be recorded, and we will send you the recording after the presentation. Also, you may have noticed that you are muted. We're muting everybody just to keep the background noise down to a minimum. But if you do have any questions along the way, please submit those in the Q&A section. You can find that if you click on the red or orange arrow and you see questions, you can throw your question there. We may answer your question in real time, but we will definitely get to all the questions, and we'll even answer the questions during the Q&A session right after our user spotlight. All right, so we're going to jump right into it. So discount coupons. I think everyone knows kind of what discount coupons are, but they're really promotional codes or vouchers that you can offer a reduced price for your event registration. So within Conference Tracker, you're going to be able to create various discount coupons, whether it's to incentivize early bird registration, offer like a member versus a non-member rate or discount, boost event attendance. So this is common, right, to use discount coupons to try to boost your attendance by offering some type of discounted rate. Also, we're going to be able to target specific groups of attendees, and also a reward loyalty. So you can offer a discount code for returning attendees as well. Now within Conference Tracker, there are different coupon types. Now these types, you can actually set a expiration. You can also determine how many users or attendees can use each coupon. Now these coupon types are either a fixed amount, so a fixed rate, a total amount, a percentage off of your registration, and they can even be user specific. So if you wanted to offer a discount that only a single user can use one time, you'd be able to create those. Now, the various payment methods would be things like Stripe, PayPal, Authorize.net. So we actually integrate with these payment platforms so that when an attendee does register, all the registration payment goes directly into your own Stripe, PayPal, or Authorize.net account. We don't ever take any of your payments. They go directly to you as soon as your payment provider is able to accept those payments. Now you also can do invoices as well. So Conference Tracker will create an invoice for attendees that can then be paid via cash or check, whatever other option you might want to offer. Now something you want to make sure that you're doing is setting up your payment instructions. The reason why we would want to do this, especially for the invoices, is as soon as an attendee registers, whether it's they chose an invoice option or they want to pay by credit card, whatever it might be, Conference Tracker will actually send an invoice, an automated email to the attendee with their invoice attached. Also, we want to set up payment instructions email. Now what this is going to do is all pending registrations are going to receive these customized instructions on how to pay. For example, if an attendee chose credit card option, but they didn't actually complete their payment, they'll go into your online registration portal as a pending registration because they have not yet paid. It's automatically going to send this payment instructions email. And you can actually even manually have it sent to them, even after that. We're going to talk about how to automate that process as well here in a second. But you want to make sure you set up these instructions because next we talk about scheduling those payment reminders. So once you've set your reminder and what information you want the attendee to receive to complete their payment, you're going to be able to schedule it to, again, any attendee as a pending registration, and you can set up 3 different reminders. So on a certain date, so many days before that date, and then so many days after that date as well. And as I kind of mentioned, you can also manually send those instructions to your pending registrations. I think Garrett's actually going to be going over that with you as well. So we're actually going to get into it now. We're going to have Garrett take over, and he's going to show us these things within the Conference Tracker platform.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Chad. So, of course, today we're talking about coupons, discounts, and payments, right? So normally you guys are used to me showing off my little Avengers Academy demo account. Well, this time I'm going to shamelessly plug the event that we are throwing for ourselves this first time. So Engineerica is throwing its first Academic Center Summit. This is actually coming up here in 25 days. In October the 14th and 15th here in Orlando, right next to Universal Studios. This is going to be, of course, academia training on our Academic Center Management platform, but we are also hosting a plethora of different professional development sessions for anybody that's in the education industry. We've got a couple great keynotes coming, Michael Frizzell and Corey Hammond, if those names ring a bell. So we're very excited to present this year. So to jump back to our topic, of course, we're talking about coupons. To find your coupons, we're going to go into our registration section from the menu and then to discount coupons. And as you can see here in our event, we have several different ones that we've created over our registration process. But today we're going to show you what it looks like to create one from scratch. So to start off with, we've got to give our coupon a name, right? We want to know what this coupon's for. So just for an example, we're going to say free registration. And then we have to give it a coupon code. Now, I recommend that you do something that's very specific to your coupon. So maybe we're doing just free 2024. Maybe we can actually put free reg. And if you're going into something more specific, like a specific people type coupon, maybe we're gonna talk about membership. So member 2024. You can get as custom as you want here, but what's important to pay attention to is that your code will always be in full uppercase letters, just because that's the way that most coupon codes are distributed. So we take away that choice just so there's no mix up during registration on the attendee side where they accidentally put a lowercase letter. So of course we have a description here if you have multiple people on your organizing team, just to let them know, free reg, valid until whenever. But let's talk about the different types of coupons. As you can see here, we have amount, percentage, and fixed price. Everybody's familiar with percentage, 20, 30% off. This is what you see in your daily consumer life as you're going through your different department stores. Amount is going to be a specific amount off, so maybe we're giving them a $50 off coupon. The weird one here is fixed price. So no matter what the cost of your registration, I'm going to bring it down to a fixed price of $100. Now this is going to negate any add-ons that you select during registration. So maybe you're selling bonus t-shirts or something like that, or some kind of magazine subscription, things of this nature. This is going to bring the whole reg down to that price. As well, like Chad talked about and I briefly mentioned earlier, you get to set the validity for these coupons. So maybe you're setting it just for attendees, or this is exhibitor specific. But more importantly, we have a specific people type. So with this type of coupon, this is more geared towards like a member, non-member type of situation. If you have a list of emails of your members of your organization, we can upload that list here in a CSV file. We also have a nice little example file, sample file, if you want to download that and just fill in the blanks, right? But what you're going to see happen is as you load in these different emails and you set your coupon up, as your attendees or your exhibitors go through registration, the system is automatically going to detect that that email has been used, and it will automatically apply that code for them. So there's no need to enter an actual coupon code with this coupon type. Now, of course, last but not least, we have our expiration date. So if you're going to do something that is only in regards to maybe a promotional deal that you're doing, oh, register in the next 30 days to get $100 off, this will end the validity of that coupon on that date. So with that, there's a couple things that tie into coupons and payments that we also want to bring to light. So to start off, we need to make sure that we're collecting the payment that our attendees, our exhibitors, our members are paying us. And to do that, we're going to step into advanced options and the settings down here at the bottom. And then you're going to be looking for your payment settings. Now here you have a couple different options for both attendees and exhibitors as to which method of payment they're using. So maybe you want to give attendees the ability to pay with a credit card, but you only want exhibitors to go through Invoice or PayPal. Maybe it's more secure, or maybe you're separating the collection of these payments. So maybe we're doing attendees as Stripe or authorized.net, but we want all of our exhibitor payments to go into PayPal. So we have two different places where we can quickly see, oh, well, this is how much all of it we've collected from exhibitors, and this is how much we've collected through attendees. Now with that, of course, like I said, you're going to want to select the payment gateway that you're using for bank account, debit, and credit card. And then we start getting into the actual payment setup, the setup of that integration. So by far, PayPal is going to be the easiest. You're just going to put in the email that you're using with your PayPal account. Sometimes for business accounts, and they have multiple different levels to their payment. Sometimes this is better used as the merchant ID, but this is something that we would find out during a support meeting, and we can easily fix this. Second easiest, I'd say, would be the Stripe setup. You're just going to come here and you're going to click connect to Stripe, and you're going to log into your Stripe account, and Stripe and Conference Tracker will have a nice little handshake conversation in which they will provide these account IDs for both a testing account and a properly connected account. So if you want to use test mode right here and click on this switch, it's going to use this account ID so that no payments actually taken. It's kind of like a sandbox mode when you want to test your registration. As well, for Stripe, we have a currency denominator. So if you're another fellow North American client who's located in Canada and you only accept payments in Canadian dollar, that is an option for you as well. And then we go into authorized.net. Now, authorized.net requires that you have specific API keys and logins and public client keys that get used for an integration. And we do have articles and documentation that'll guide you through this process on retrieving those keys. But of course, feel free to set up a meeting with support and we can go through it together. Of course, you have that same sandbox option with all three, right? So if you want to turn these on and actually test that the payment's going through and fully test registration as an attendee, you can do so without worrying about any payment being charged, but you'll still see the same success message. Now, moving on to our last and one of my favorite features here in the payment section is we have payment reminders. So once you enable these, there's a very specific way that you want to read this as you set it up. So these payment reminders are going to be automatic emails that are sent out. If anybody's gone through registration before, you'll be familiar with the send payment instructions button, which I'll show you again here in a little bit. But it's just sending out that same email template, and we'll show you where that template is. So when you're setting these up, you want to make sure that your on date, the day that we're sending this on, is before the end of your registration, especially before the start date of your event. And that's because we have emails going out before this date and after this date. So if we set our on date to October 14th, which is the start date for the Engineerica Academic Center Summit, people are gonna be receiving payment reminders 7 days after the event. Well, our event's only 2 days, so if they haven't paid us by that time, we have a separate problem. So in this case, we've set this up for October 1st. And we have our first reminder going out 7 days before the 1st and 7 days after the 1st. So they can get a total of 3 reminders from Conference Tracker saying, hey, don't forget to pay your registration fees. So with that, I'll show, since we're still in the settings, I'll show you where that email template is hidden. So we have advanced options, settings, and then these templates are going to be located in the registration section. So if you scroll down into attendee registration, you have the payment confirmation email, and then you have the payment instructions email. This is the one that is going out with those switches that we were just looking at. Now, of course, this is fully customizable, so customize it however you want. If you don't want it to sign off from the conference tracker team, feel free to use your own organizational title there. The only important thing to keep in mind of when you're customizing this email template is this payment URL keyword. This is what actually gives them a link to click to go make that payment. If you pull anything out of this email template, you want to make sure that you leave in this payment URL. Otherwise, you're just sending them an email full of words and they can't actually make the payment. Now, of course, we have a preview button here, so be sure to take a look at your email with the auto-generated text just so you can see what it's going to look like, just to make sure that you're happy with it. And then, of course, if you scroll down here, you get into the other confirmation emails that go along with registration, one of those being an invoice email, right? So we want to also take a look at this one as Chad showed you in his PowerPoint, and just make sure that this has the right verbiage that we want to use. Now, these same email templates are also available under the exhibitor registration settings. So if you want to say different words to the exhibitors, maybe remind them about an address where they're going to be shipping their supplies, or any of the posters, handouts, things that they want to give out, this is a separate template, so you can get custom to each role. Again, that same payment URL, right? Very important. Now, a part of payments is the invoices, which we touched on very briefly. So if you come into registration invoices, we have our attendee invoice set up here. Now, there's no limit to your invoices. So if you want to have a different one for your attendees as you do your exhibitors, of course, that's available to you. When you step into this designer, it's going to be very quick. We do have some pre-built designs into the system, and it's going to populate with a lot of these keywords here that are just going to pull from your registration form and populate the attendee information, or it'll just come up with the invoice number and order numbers that are referenced within Conference Tracker. And of course, this table comes with it as well. So each line item will be separated along with the amount that they're being charged. Now, once you have your invoice the way you like it, and you have a couple in the system, it's important that you come in here and set defaults. If you don't tell the system what invoice design you're using for each role, it doesn't know which one to generate when it sends out those invoice emails that we were looking at earlier. So this is the most important step when it comes to setting up your invoices. Of course, as you can see, it's just a drop and drag title here. So we're just going to click it for each role. And of course, save our changes like always. And with that, we get into our user spotlight. That about covers everything for payments here.